What's going on, crypto crew? Sean's coming back at you in the cryptocurrency video, giving you a quick update on Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. What are we looking at? What do we anticipate? So we see Bitcoin. This is on the 8-hour chart. We ran up and had this peak way up at around 73, 74,000. And then note the trend. The trend's your friend to the end. And basically, we've just been in a downtrend since then. Let's get rid of this white line here. And you can see that from this peak, we came back down and made a low, an initial low around the $60,000 threshold. So we can see that the $60,000 0.382 level is something to definitely know and pay attention to. So we're just going to mark this off on our chart as a level of confluence, a level that we need to pay attention to. So since this $73,000, $74,000 peak, came down, touched this $60,000 threshold, and then came back up and then put in a lower high. And then we came back down and wicked through that, but we held that $60,000 threshold and had a minor bounce up and then a rejection and put in a lower low. So at this point, you see the trend has changed because you put in a high, a lower high, then a lower low. And then we came back up, and just based off of confluence, you can see here, even this wick up right here was still a lower high than the previous wick. And then we came back down, and we may have bottomed out right here around the $54,000 threshold. At least that's what we thought. And then we came back up and around this $70,000 threshold, put in a higher low once again. People thought that this was going to be the ultimate bottom here. Oh, that was a fake out. And then we went all the way down and put a even lower low in down to 49,000. It was a quick wick. As you see, we came down and came right back up. But look right here, we still put in a lower high. So once again, the trend is your friend until the end. Now this is where things change, because note, when we came back down, we didn't go lower than the previous low, the $49,000 threshold. We stopped here. We had a wick down to about 52, 53,000. Look at, so this right here is now a potential divergence. As you see, the trend can be changing. So one thing we needed to note was, will we get back above the previous high, even if it's temporarily? And look what we did. We came back up to that about $66,000 threshold and then put in a higher low. So it'll be interesting to see how the next couple of weeks and next couple of months plays out, because this trend is now changing. Now, we were in this downwards channel, and if we draw this channel out for you, it would look something like this. Let's just get another line and pull this down. And that's, roughly with this one outlier, this was a wick down. That's how this channel sort of has been trading the past 6 months. Now, what if we see another trend line or another channel that's starting to form? And how long will this last? And can this last just as long as this downwards channel over the past 6 months? So let's just get out another line. Let's copy this. And as far as the confluence and the charts, this is an outlier. We'll just keep it consistent like that. So if we do see something similar, stair-stepping our way out the depths, could we see this extend and go into 2025? That's a potential, not a guarantee, because this looks like a massive bull flag, and this takes you up to the 6-figure price target. So we've looked at that in previous videos. I'm not going to look at that right now. So if we do come back down, where's the level you want to pay attention to? If this trend stays consistent, we could come back down to the $54,000 to $56,000 threshold, maybe with a wick down to like 54, flush some longs, and then have a continuation to the upside, ultimately putting in once again a higher high. So this trend could be changing. Now, one thing to note, if we look at these moving averages, let's remove all of our drawings, and you see these moving averages, the red, green, and blue lines, there is something to pay attention to in the chart. So we're just going to look at the previous price action since August, when the trend seems to have changed, bottom out, put a high, put a higher low in. So this could ultimately be a second leg. What do I mean by that? Looking at our Elliott wave impulses. So if this is wave 1, we have our wave 2 pullback, and this could be wave 3 that's playing out. And as everybody knows, wave 3 is going to be the highest of them all. So let's just resize this so we can make it make sense and look at this with a little bit of discernment. So if we have this wave 3 have a major extension to the upside, this could come up to like $80,000–$90,000. Nobody knows. We can just speculate. But then we'll have that wave 4 pullback, and then that last wave 5 blow off top, which could take us up into 100,000. So this is just an example. But if you look at this, it does make sense because within each wave you have the microwave. So this would be wave 1. This could be the potential wave 2 pullback, and we could be getting ready to blast through and then have this third leg to map off the top of this leg 3. Are we going to see this? Time will definitely tell. But one thing to note in this channel over the past 6 months, if you look at this red moving average here, so that's the 200 moving average, simple moving average. So the 200 holds a lot of weight. It doesn't move fast, but it does act as support and resistance. And look what just happened. Since the first, we held this as support. We had quite a few wick downs, and now we're starting to stair step our way up. Now, are we out the depths yet? Not yet. We could see a lower low because this leg 2 could go lower as long as it doesn't invalidate this structure by going lower than this first initial leg down here. So the levels we want to pay attention to are, if we look at our horizontals, we're going to look at this level down here. So this is the base. If wave 2 comes down and invalidates this, then we have more problems ahead. Bitcoin's going to see lower price action. Now, could we go down to a 55 and have a deep leg 2? That's definitely guaranteed. That's definitely a possibility. And that would be something like potentially an ABC correction. We could come up and you run into this 50 and 20 moving average before coming back down as an ABC correction before we start this third leg. So there's a lot of different scenarios, but right now we are holding support at that 200. And the 200 is something to pay attention to because once again, that's an extremely strong level of resistance or support. In this case, it's acting as support. If we look back over the last 6 months, what do we see? When we got back above the 200, when we got through it, we tested, we fall through it. It's never really held support. It held support here back in June of this year. But as you see, we've seen that the 20 crossed over the 50, and then it basically waited for it to catch up with the price action, and then once the 20 crossed over the 200, that's when we ultimately had that meltdown all the way down to the floor. So we do have to be patient. We have to wait and see what the price action gives us, because this level right here we can sort of compare to the present level that we're in if we look back in the charts to see what else we can see. So this was the initial run up. We went up to 74,000. We're not going to look over here because we were extremely overbought in every indicator. So even here, if we look at, let's just look at a few indicators, we can see that the RSI, was in overbought territory, but we had this divergence right here. On the RSI, you see the RSI put in a higher low and the price put in a higher high. So this is a bearish divergence, meaning that the price action is going to come back down and reset. So this is probably the only level where we had this 200 hold as long as we did. Let's see if we see any confluence in the charts right now. So you see the RSI, we don't see that same divergence as far as, putting in. Typically when you see a lower high and you see the price action put in a higher high, that means that local peak or ultimate peak is in. And right now we're seeing the RSI is actually putting in higher highs in an uptrend since, in this leg up. And we've also reset. The RSI has put in a higher low, another higher low, so we could be stair stepping off the depths. So this area of confluence right here on the Bitcoin price chart is something to definitely pay attention to. So this is Bitcoin. Let's take a quick look at MicroStrategy. So as you know, MicroStrategy is going to trade in parallel with Bitcoin, but its NAV has been outpacing over the past year, roughly at 2.2x. You can find this on MSTR-tracker.com. You see the NAV premium right here, 2.2. So will this increase as time progresses? It seems like that, but as you see, there seems to be some type of bull flag as well that MicroStrategy is forming. And right now this is on the weekly, so let's look on the lower time frame. On the Bitcoin price chart, we look on the 8 hour, so we'll be consistent and look on the 8 hour as well to make it all make sense. Okay, so now all our moving averages are on. We're looking at MicroStrategy, and this is the same. This is the same time frame. We put in a low in August, and then if we did come down, and let's look at our Elliott wave count, if that was the ultimate low, and we just put in a wave 1, this could be a wave 2, and this could be the start of leg 3. Now the difference in Bitcoin's price chart compared to MicroStrategy's price chart present day is that, don't look at these targets because that don't mean anything, but the difference is right now we had this bullish crossover. This is extremely bullish. As you see, two moving averages sort of flattening out. So we had the 200 and the 50 moving averages moving flat, and we came up and tested it, back tested the 50, and then had a blast up. And right now, back tested the 20 and then had a blast up. And look what we had. We had this bullish cross. These two are going to start curling up, and the 20 is acting as support right now. So the next leg up could blast through these previous highs and see new price discovery from MicroStrategy. So what could we expect as this breakout occurs? We could get through this level here, the 177 range, the 180 range. If we look back, there's some confluence. You got to look at the candle wick bodies. Yeah, we did come up to 200 or 2000, 1999 to be exact. That's pre-split. But you got to look at the candle bodies. If we zoom in on this price action here, and as you see, you know, right here, we did have a brief wick above, a candle close, but then brief close back above. This was a fake out. So this sort of got a lot of people going long, and then the market dumped. As you see, we came back up and retested that level here, and then retested it here, but had a back test with all this bullishness that's behind it. Now, the major level you have to pay attention to is right here. Are we going to continue to hold this 20? Because we did this once already, and as you see, we're putting in lows, higher lows, same song and dance. The divergence happened right here, putting a higher high. So are we about to blast up? Could this be leg 3 that's initiating? If we get our 5 waves out, this could be wave 1. How low is this going to pull back? Are we going to pull back all the way down to the 140s and retest both these moving averages before we blast up and then have a continuation to the upside? You know, that is what we see in the chart. So the major level you want to pay attention to right now is the 160 range on MicroStrategy. If we fall through this 20 moving averages, we could come back down as a lower retracement. Now, one thing to note, we can actually come back down to this macro support as well, all the way down to the 120s. This will be an ultimate buying opportunity if this happens as well. So it's, you know, and it's going to be dependent on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin doesn't hold this level and pulls back lower down to the mid to low 50s again, then MicroStrategy could come back down and either retest where these 20 and 50 moving averages are, or ultimately down to this upwards trend line. So that's what we see in the charts for MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. Before we leave, go ahead and check us out at Bitcoin Bros 101. We got all our social links. If you want to be part of the Bitcoin Bros community, we got our premium Patreon pass, and also you want some ebooks, we got some knowledge for you. If you're getting started in crypto, the Crypto Millionaire Ultimate Beginner's Guide right here. And if you want to get into the charts, how I just did, Technical Analysis 101. Instant downloads, you don't gotta wait. These are on Amazon as well if you want a hard copy, but BitcoinBros101.com, you can get instant download access right now if you want to continue your crypto journey and crypto education. With that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have, and I'm out.